The San Antonio Alamodome has played host to many exciting Monster Jam events over the years, but in 2024 it's the start of new beginnings and the end of an era. Stadium Championship Series East kicks off in San Antonio, Texas as Tom Meents begins his retirement tour. The all-new JCB Digatron makes its global debut, and 12 Monster Jam superstars will go head-to-head on this exciting new paperclip course. Without further ado, here is our San Antonio 2024 review. As a reminder, Stadium Championship Series East consists of Tyler Manninger in Gravedigger, Tom Meents in Max D, Tristan England in the all-new JCB Digatron, Todd LeDuc in Megalodon, Lindsay Reed in the Lucas Stabilizer, Bryce Kenny in the Grey Clips Mohawk Warrior, Jamie Garner in El Toro Loco, Cole Vernard in Black Pearl, Matt Pagliarulo in Jester, Mike Pagliarulo takes over Kraken, John Gordon in Bad Company, and Ryan Disharoon in Shaker. Already the hype began just days before the event when Monster Jam did a live unveiling of the all-new JCB Digatron inside the Alamodome. It was an awesome display of the JCB machinery with a coordinated performance. Then out comes Tristan England in the all-new Digatron, leaping out from the tunnel, smashing through the breakaway wall with an epic fireworks and light display. The debut video finished off with a JCB machine surrounding Digatron on the pod, with a flaming JCB logo. The ending scene not only looked freaking awesome, but also looked like the beginnings of a cult, just without the fruit punch. This intro was repeated for both San Antonio shows as well, just minus the cult summoning at the end and the flaming JCB logo on the pod. But Digatron wasn't the only truck that had a new look for the new season, as John Gordon in Bad Company is now rocking the gorgeous holographic paint scheme from last year's World Finals. Ryan Disharoon and Shaker have rolled out a beautiful red and white design, a tribute to his father's original backdraft design for its 10th anniversary. God, all of these trucks have grown up so fast, it makes me feel so old. The anticipation for the first body for Tom Meents' retirement tour was palpable. The body is a replica of the World Finals display truck, with one half being the Max D 20th anniversary design, and the other side being the original Maximum Destruction scheme. I have to say that this design is awesome, especially in a competition setting. His intro on day 2 featured the amazing David Lee voice lines,
For the last time ever, your 14-time World Finals champion.
but his driver card would end up stealing the show, with many making absolutely hilarious memes such as this one.
14-time World Finals Champion, Tom Meents!
Moving on to the actual shows, in round 1 of racing for show number 1, Shaker defeated El Toro Loco, Megalodon defeated Kraken, Gravedigger defeated Black Pearl, and Max D defeated Bad Company. Megalodon would end up being disqualified, as after his racing pass, he would crash into the dumpster, knocking over some lighting equipment. The reason for this, other than smacking the dumpster, was going out of bounds. This meant that John Gordon in Bad Company would get a second chance, as Mike Pagliarulo was suffering truck problems and could not return. In round 2, the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior defeated Shaker, JCB Digatron defeated Bad Company, Gravedigger defeated Lucas Stabilizer, and Max D defeated Jester. Another one bites the dust, or in the context of this, more like Jagor slams into the dumpster. In the semi-finals, JCB Digatron defeated Great Clips Mohawk Warrior, and Gravedigger defeated Max D. The final round pitted the reigning world racing champion Tristan England against the phenom Tyler Manninger for an epic finale race. In the end, it would be Tyler Manninger narrowly edging out Digatron for the racing win. if it wasn't noticeable in racing. The conditions were not ideal, and unfortunately that made skills kinda boring. The slick conditions of the dirt meant that for some drivers, getting a moonwalk or wheelie was quite challenging, while others resorted to donuts. While donuts are a great way to earn a consistent amount of points, in conditions that aren't muddy, I feel like donuts are a little bit of a cop-out move to perform. Bryce Kenny in the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior performed a great moonwalk off the pod that saw him twist the truck around on the front two tires. And as he set the move down, his truck ended up becoming the Great Clips Bald Warrior. His second hit was not as good, trying to do the tombstone moonwalk, but unfortunately could not hold it up. Tristan England laid down two solid moonwalks, one off the pod and one off the two-wheel ramp, executing both maneuvers with perfection. However, it would be Tyler Menninger who would take the win, pulling off another great moonwalk off the pod, as well as a crazy bicycle off the berm, which saw him do 2 sets of sidewall saves in the same move. During halftime, we would receive a performance act from the JCB Dirt Squad, doing the Dancing Diggers routine, which sees the JCB machinery do more of these choreographed dances like we saw during Digatron's reveal. Onto freestyle, and the new layout proved to be somewhat of a challenge. Many, especially including myself, were let down with the bowl being replaced by a regular pod, but with its height reduced significantly and its fairly basic layout, honestly was a solid compromise to not have the bowl. Starting us off was Matt Pagliarulo in Jester, and almost immediately into his run, his right rear tire locked up, hindering him from really being able to do anything other than some nice donuts. John Gordon in Bad Company was next, and he would lay down a pretty respectable run with some good flow, air, and technicality, which ended up scoring a 7.195. Ryan Desharoon in Shaker hit the track and was on his way to having a really good run. However, a bad bounce into the pod from not downsiding the berm ended his run early and would not take the lead away from John Gordon. Mike Pagliarulo finally hit the track in Kraken after the truck had suffered mechanical issues during skills. However, issues had persisted, shutting off during the run, and the only real highlight was the great donut that ended his run. Bryce Kenny's run, in all honesty, started off fairly reserved, but it picked up near the end with this great combo into the pod, but an over-rotated backflip would end the run. He did, however, take the lead away from John Gordon with a 9.017. That's not what the score is. He did, however, take the lead away from John Gordon with a 9.107. The former freestyle world champion unfortunately did not live up to her championship status at Show 1, flipping over in just 2 hits. In Lindsay Reed's defense, she did get an awful rebound from the pod that was never going to end well, and thus received no score due to not filling 30 seconds. Cole Vernard in Black Pearl was next to tackle freestyle. However, he too would end his run early with a broken tie rod, only getting a 4.104. It's been a rough night for Team Megalodon, but Todd LeDuc looked to change that in freestyle. However, it was a very reserved run, only picking up at the end with a great backflip into a weird bounce on the tailgate, as well as this cool crash on the car ramp. Despite this, Todd LeDuc would take the lead with a 9.156. The first ever freestyle from the JCB Digatron was very entertaining. Even without a backflip, the run was action-packed with some great launches from the outside of the berm, great combos, and some two-wheel action sprinkled in as well. Unfortunately, the fans still decided that Todd LeDuc had the better run and Tristan would sit in 3rd place. The reigning two-wheel skills world champion Tyler Menninger was on his way to putting Gravedigger at the top of the leaderboard in freestyle with a typical Tyler Menninger run. However, his throttle would get stuck, which gave us this crazy visual of his truck basically vertical upon landing. The officials decided it was unsafe to let him continue. A very fair and understandable call. His truck was left out on the track for some reason as the final competitor for freestyle was next, that being Tom Meents in Manx D. Meents' run was easily the best run all around with some great air, incredible momentum, a backflip, and a vintage Tom Meents save to end off his run. With this, he takes the freestyle win from Todd the Duke and his very first freestyle win of his retirement tour. However, Tyler Menninger takes home the overall event championship as the tour prepares for day number 2. After some epic introductions, it was time to go racing for show 2 of San Antonio. In round 1, Bad Company defeated Jester, Shaker defeated Kraken, Grey Clips Mohawk Warrior defeated Black Pearl in a photo finish, and El Toro Loco defeated the Lucas Stabilizer. In round 2, JCB Digatron defeated Bad Company, Shaker defeated Megalodon, El Toro Loco defeated Gravedigger in yet another photo finish, and the Grey Cliffs Mohawk Warrior defeated Max D. In the semi-finals, we saw yet another upset as Shaker defeated the World Racing Champion Tristan England, and Grey Clips Mohawk Warrior defeated El Toro Loco. The final round pitted two surprising but deserving drivers head-to-head for the second racing win of Stadium Series East. The win would ultimately go to Bryce Kenny in the Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. The skills challenge was slightly better than yesterday's show, with drivers still struggling to get the traction to pull off certain moves. However, there were some great attempts made by drivers during the show, like Lindsay Reed and Tristan England. Taking third place was Todd LeDuc, who performed two great moonwalks, one off the pod and the other off the front side of the step up. In second place was Tom Meents, who performed a maximum moonwalk off the trench box backflip and a moonwalk off the step up, which he almost rode up completely on top, but was still very impressive. Taking the skills challenge win was Tyler Menninger in Gravedigger, who performed quite literally almost the exact same maneuvers as last night, only his bicycle move did not see him do sidewalls on both sides, and just singular rotations. Freestyle was completely off the hook, especially compared to show 1. Starting us off was Jamie Garner in El Toro Loco, performing his first freestyle of the new season, as last night he was unable to freestyle due to truck issues. The truck had a slight hiccup in the first part of his run, but the rest of it was pretty solid. Lindsay Reed's run was thankfully more enjoyable than night 1. However, it's clear that she still is getting used to this new truck and a completely different show setting. Her run did have some good moments, most notably the over-rotated backflip that ended her run. Cole Vernard was out next and he laid down a really solid performance with some big air and the first successful backflip of the night, scoring an 8.604. Mac Pagliarulo in Jester would have a shockingly fast-paced run with some huge air leaps. However, the good old Dirt Monster would bite him as he was slinging the truck into the corner, rolling over and ending the run early. The other half of Team Tomfoolery Motorsports, Mike Pagliarulo, had a very stop-and-start sort of run, with more mechanical gremlins at hand. Though he did get some good hits in, it definitely was not good enough for the lead. Ryan Disharoon would send Shaker to the moon during his run with some really good pace throughout, as well as a perfect backflip. However, this still was not enough to sway the judges in favor of Shaker, as Black Pearl still leads freestyle. John Gordon in Bad Company would do the same, getting some insane leaps. However, a slap wheelie into a bad bounce put an end to his exciting run early. Tristan England would be out next and lay down the best run of the night so far. His technicality was on point. The floor coverage and air he had was even better, as well as a textbook backflip put the JCB Digatron in the top spot in freestyle. After a disappointing early end to his run the night before, Tyler Menninger would put down another patented Menninger run. Insanely huge leaps, even more two-wheel technicality, as well as this incredible save sequence to end his run. It helped him get a 9.669 and take the lead in freestyle. Bryce Kenny was tasked with following that incredible run that Menninger just did, and in some aspects, I think Kenny was successful. Most of the run was just generally great pace and big air, but it was the last hit that truly set this run apart from anything else. Kenny would get easily the biggest air of the weekend, bounce off the pod and combo into the berm, causing this absolutely incredible flat spin move. Or, as Ryan Anderson called it, the exorcism spin. Now, I realize that most people believe that this run should have taken the lead, and part of me agrees with that sentiment, but I do think the fans did get this one right, considering Tyler had a lot more consistency in terms of speed, technicality, and wow moments compared to Bryce, but it still placed well being a contender for 4th place. Out next was Todd LeDuc, and he would unfortunately have a really lackluster run. Only a few hits in, he falls off the side of the step up and saves it, though the truck appears to be fine, but clearly something was broken or there were some electrical problems. Tom Meents would finish off freestyle, hot off his freestyle win from night number 1. However, he too would not finish his weekend in San Antonio how he wanted to as well, getting a terrible bounce off the finish line ramp and tumbling over after a failed save attempt. That means that Tyler Menninger once again wins freestyle and the overall event championship, leaving San Antonio. Points for Stadium Championship Series East are very interesting. Unsurprisingly, Tyler Menninger leads the series with 65 points, but just 5 points behind him is Tristan England. Bryce Kenny locks out 3rd place with Tom Meents in 4th with 47 points, while Ryan Disharoon and John Gordon are both tied with 40 points each. Todd LeDuc sits in 7th place, while Jamie Garner takes 8th. Lindsey Reed sits in 9th place alongside Cole Bernard, who is surprisingly really low in the series standings. That does mean that both the Pagliarulos lock out 11th and 12th place, with Matt having 20 points and Mike sitting in last with 15. San Antonio was a solid start for Stadium Championship Series East. Both shows were pretty enjoyable, though show 1 was definitely more lacking, in saying that the action was definitely not bad by any means. There just wasn't anything to stand out with the exception of the amazing intros. And well, 2 trucks slamming into the dumpsters. With that being said, I'm going to rate San Antonio Show 1 a solid 3.5 stars out of 5. San Antonio Show 2, in hindsight, wasn't drastically better than Show 1, unlike, say, San Francisco. However, that does not mean that it was a bad show. In fact, I thought it was actually quite good. Everything as a whole improved upon Show 1, but there were still some bleak moments, mainly in skills and unfortunately the last 2 freestyles. But the upsets in racing and the great skills routines, and especially Bryce Kenny's exorcism spin, definitely helps the event rank high. With that being said, I'm going to rate San Antonio Show 2 4.25 stars. It does rank slightly lower than San Francisco Show 2, but that was because almost every run at that show had a crazy moment and very little dull moments compared to San Antonio. However, this show's rating is still good and deserves what I gave it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon with some more Monster Truck content.